Live now. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Crypto Hour. Today it's Friday, the 18th of July. We haven't had a Crypto Hour for the last few weeks as I've been away on holiday. Now that I am back, why don't you inform me? Why don't you tell me what's going on in the world? What are the biggest news that you've heard? Not necessarily about crypto. What about the general investing and economic news? So what have you heard? What's been around on the bulletins? Can anybody say anything? No, come on, guys. At least,
Crypto's gone up. I know that didn't it hit all-time high now?
sorry, what was going up?
Didn't crypto go up to 130 something? What isn't it? It's gone up
Yeah,
again?
but that's the kind of like that's not the news. That's the result of it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we got tariffs and we got all the other bullshit going on in the States. If you want to just get blunt, that's probably the best thing to do. It's like what's the circus doing now? Anyway.
Well, you know what? I think you summed it up in one, pretty much, because everything, all the talk has been, I mean, been two things. Yeah, one of it is actual data, and the other thing is that okay, let's see what they're gonna do next. Okay, so from one side, and we're gonna look in the economic calendar soon. Guys, I get some background noise, so can you make sure that you mute? Oh, there we are. Michelle, you're the culprit. I muted you. Okay. So one is the economic data. The economic data that we get, kind of information about rates, about jobs, and about inflation figures, gives investors an idea of what's going to happen with the interest rates, and that's the main thing that drives the prices and the differential between the US dollar, for example, and other currencies. Okay, and particular assets. So for example, all the time the interest rates on the dollar are very high, there is less of an incentive to invest in other things like gold, silver, other things that don't pay a dividend. If the interest rates were to go down, then it means that it's cheaper to do business, so stocks and shares will go up. It's then less attractive to stay invested in the dollar, and it can then become more attractive to buy things like precious metals, gold, and other things. The economic activity goes up, so what happens if there is more economic activity? We use more oil, so oil prices might end up going up. So it's things that we need to look in. We can't look at too many things in isolation. We got to consider the whole picture. Okay, so if I kind of share my screen first. We'll start having a look at the economic calendar. So we'll have a look from the beginning of July, basically. We just concentrate. Let me just actually do this to filter for just the red events. Okay. So we can see the most important events. What we see in kind of beginning of July, end of June, beginning of July, we have the non-farm employment change, which is probably the most important announcement for the job market in the US. This shows like a buoyant market. We were expecting to see quite a sharp drop, but instead we got a very, very slight increase, which again pushes back. So what does that do? It means that the chairman of the Fed doesn't have to worry about stimulating the job market because the job market is doing okay. So they're just going to worry about inflation and all the time, because their mandate is twofold. One is keep the job market going, and two, keep the inflation under control. If the job market is doing all right, they don't have to worry about that. They're going to worry about inflation. And with the tariffs, obviously, they don't know what's going to happen. So they keep interest rates high so that it's as like a restricted policy, so that people have less money in their pockets. They don't go out and spend a lot, and inflation is under control. So that was last week, and because we saw that the interest rate in Australia stayed the same in as well in New Zealand, and then there were kind of like there were some minutes of the Monetary Committee in the US, which are important just as much as the cash rate because they spelling out the intentions of the Monetary Committee, and they still confirm that they are going to do two cuts this year. So before the end of the year, there's going to be two cuts in interest rates. So probably about half a point, so a quarter and a quarter, unless the economy deteriorates and they're forced to cut a little bit faster. And this week we had another important figure was the CPI, okay, which again shows it was a little bit below expectation, but above what was the previous month. So the inflation has started ticking up again. Still keeps at the moment below 3%. It was 2.7%, but really they want to keep it at 2.5% and below. So at the moment the Fed is still worried about inflation, so they're more likely than not to keep interest rates higher for a little bit longer before they are cutting. So the cuts could come right at the end of the year and then create what normally happens in the US, which is the Christmas rally, where everything goes up before Christmas because everybody is in a good mood, they just got a little bit more money and they buy more things. And this is going towards next week. Next week, we start in the interest rate announcements again with the euro, and nothing else too important to watch for from next week. And then we're gonna have the week after, which is right at the end of July. We have then that's gonna be the heavy week in terms of announcements. Okay, so we have Canadian interest rates, American interest rates, Japanese interest rates, inflation figures, and non-farm employment all in 1 week. So the week after next is going to be a heavy weight, and not for the novices. If you are in the markets and you are trading the markets, be very careful if you're not very experienced, because that can wreck your account very, very easily. Okay, now going into crypto, what are the things that are affecting the crypto market? So you might have noticed. So you might have noticed, as Kim was saying, that Bitcoin has hit a new high just a few days ago. So that was when on Monday we hit 123,000. Okay, so we were stuck for since January. It took until May, to the end of May, to get to over 110, and then again from the 23rd of May, almost like 2 months now to break through and create a new high. Okay, so we're now at 123,000. Now, is that the top? This is what we got to consider when we look at things, and there's a few things that we look at that I would like to show you as well. One of the main charts has been used in the past to narrow down the top of the market is the you might have heard of the NUPL. It's called the net unrealized profit and loss. That tells you what percentage of the investors in Bitcoin are sitting sitting in profit rather than at a loss. So when you see here the blue lines, that's when the majority of investors was actually at a loss in Bitcoin, and it's probably the best time to actually buy Bitcoin. And each percentage is connected to a certain name, to a certain part of the cycle. But they go in quarters, so from 0 to 0.25, for 0.25 to 0.5, 0.5 to 0.75, and then above 0.75, we are in what is called the greed phase, and that's the moment that you can, probably look to start unwinding your crypto positions. Now, we are at the moment just going from the second phase to the third phase. So we're going from uncertainty to belief, but we are very, very far away still from the greed phase. Okay, because it's in a way, because during this phase of institutional adoption, prices have gone up fairly slowly. At least if you can see, there's a long period between March and November 2024 when nothing much happened, and then again another period here from November to April 2025 when again nothing much happened. So this time it means that the growth is being quite stable and sustainable. Okay, and the other thing to look at, if we look at, in Bitcoin, we can track down every single coin. So we know every single Bitcoin, what was the last price when it was moved, when it was bought or sold. And that's the realized price that can give us a good indication of a base price for what the lowest point could be during the next bear market. Okay, and now the average price of which all the coins have been bought. So that's an average from the coins that were bought in 2010. They have never been moved, and then ones that have been bought yesterday. Obviously, every new coin that is moved at the moment, being bought or sold 119,000. But the realized price of Bitcoin at the moment sits at about $50,000. So that we can use that kind of like a floor, knowing that, okay, if Bitcoin was to drop, obviously it's still a sharp drop from 120 to 50. During the last cycle, we reached what, 15,000? We're going up to 70,000, and then we go back to 15,000. Now, as this grows, we can use it pretty much as an indicator that is now the floor for the market. That's significant as well, because 50,000 is now above the price of when the ETFs were launched. Okay, when the ETF were launched, the price was about 49,000. So now we are above that. We're never probably going as low as that again, or maybe for a brief period, but not for long. Now, so what's happening in the market to causing this increase in price is mainly that institutional adoption is continuing strong, but also there is now new belief because of the Genius Act that's going through Parliament in the US into Congress. Sorry. And as a result of that, it's the regulatory environment for crypto is going to be simplified and going to make it a lot easier in the US, which is the largest market for crypto at the moment. So has put a very positive slant, not just on Bitcoin. Bitcoin has already had its path smooth in the US, but for all the smart contract platform. Okay, so for Ethereum, for Cardano, for all the other Solana, and all the other smart contract platforms that had some regulatory problems to look forward to that will not be there anymore in the near future. So as these details about this are coming through and we're getting closer to approval, there has been not just the Bitcoin has done well, but you might have noticed that something like Ethereum and the other coins have all of a sudden started making some serious moves. Okay, so this is a daily chart. So we're looking at the past. Okay, over the past 10 days. Ethereum has gone up 43%. Okay, and why am I showing you? Not so much that it's saying you should have bought Ethereum, but Ethereum is the gateway for all the tokens that are not Bitcoin. Okay, so that means that the kind of all coins are having their days now. So over the last 10 days, Ethereum is down 43%. What has Bitcoin done? So I'm going back to this chart, and it's not the one that I wanted to show you. So let's use the same. Over the last 10 days, Bitcoin has done 11%. Okay, so Bitcoin has grown 11%, Ethereum has grown 43%. And the way that we see as well is this other chart that kept going there by mistake. This is the Bitcoin dominance chart. So it shows you what percentage of the crypto market cap, the total crypto market cap, is represented by Bitcoin. And a few days ago, like 10 days ago, we were sitting at about 65%. Now we can say we're about 61.5%. And this is the first day that we are, if we close today below this orange line at 61.9, so just short of 62%, it means that now we have broken the uptrend that we had literally since September of 2022, and we are starting now on the downward move. So if we look at this was the last bull cycle, okay, from January 2021. It really topped up in November here. Sorry, not here. When this already being reached the minimum, but it went from 75% of the market to about 39%. Okay, so it doesn't mean that the crypto prices went down. The crypto prices actually boomed during this time. Everything went 5-10 times up and so on. And we are looking to the similar thing, because what happens is, if you see, imagine that you're a Bitcoin holder, okay, not necessarily a Bitcoin maxi that you put your Bitcoins and you're never going to touch them for the rest of your life, but somebody that's buying them for investing. If you see that, you got Bitcoins, but you know what, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano are growing a lot faster right now. So what would be the logical thing to do? Move some of the Bitcoin into these other coins that are growing much faster, and when you made your money, then you buy back your Bitcoin. Okay, and you got more to show for it. And I think this is the first signal that I've been talking about this the past few weeks. This is what the first sign that I was looking for saying, guys, we might be now going into the bull market phase. Okay, and now in terms of totals, let's have a look at total. This week we actually touched $4 trillion. Okay, so the total crypto market now has at the moment is sitting at 3.86 trillion, but it went up $3 trillion. Now, as you can see now, just to show you this other chart, which is this is the total crypto market excluding the top 10 coins. So as you can see there now, there's, if you look at the same thing that we were looking at before, so the last 10 days. So we'll be here probably. Okay, so over the last 10 days, again, we look at, similar move to what Ethereum has done, so 37% over the last 10 days, a lot higher than Bitcoin's move. And this is why we were saying we've seen the Bitcoin dominance going down, because everything else now is growing faster than Bitcoin. But this is the interesting thing, is that all these altcoins, most of them, are still very far away from the 2021 peak, which was here. Okay, so there's still this where Bitcoin has gone up by over 50%, because it was, if you remember, the last bull cycle it went up to 70, and now it's sitting about 120. So we're well above the 50% mark. The altcoins are still below the 2021 level. So if it was good, it wants to do some calculations. Okay, so we have, let me take my calculator. So 120 minus 70 divided 70%. But that's 71%. Okay, 71% increase in Bitcoins right now. So if we take the total for the other coins, excluding the top 10, was 491 million. Okay, billion, sorry, at the top, plus 70%. That will take us to 834. So just to be, and in the last cycle, they did a lot more than that compared to Bitcoin. But if you were just like to just pair up and do what Bitcoin is doing, we will get to that point here, That means from where we are right now, we are talking another 177% growth from now. Okay, just to get to what Bitcoin has already done. So this is why on say a certain point we're gonna have that because Bitcoin is not gonna do probably not gonna do another 170% growth in this cycle. But a lot of the altcoins will. And we can see that today is like if you go down this list, for example, it's a green day. You see most coins are up 5, 6, 7% and so on. Some of them as much as 10% and above. Okay, and this is what it looks like when the bull market starts to pull hard. Okay, Ethereum we already seen has gone from 2,500 now to today we're at 3,006. Okay, so things are moving quickly, and in the meantime, what has also, because of this law is going through Congress as well, what's happening as well is that the ETFs, which at the moment I remind you are available for Bitcoin and Ethereum, have started attracting a lot more capital again. So if you see here, this is just the last from the 4th of July, 200 million, 75, 200 million, 1 billion, 1 billion, 300 million, 400 million, 800 million, so they're accumulating. So there is a lot of appetite now, and this is just Bitcoin. So we have, from the beginning, we've accumulated 54 billion of worth in dollars of Bitcoin. But when we look at the same thing in Bitcoin, we're only talking about 600,000 Bitcoin. So at the moment, there are about 20 million Bitcoin in circulation. Okay, so what's 10% of 20 million would be 2 million, 5% would be 1 million. So we are just about not even hitting 3% here. All these 60 billion investment into Bitcoin is only purchased about 2.5% worth of Bitcoin. So you can imagine the effect that there are hundreds of billions still coming to the crypto market. And can you imagine if 2.5% of Bitcoin has had that effect? Any Bitcoin they carry on buying is got like an exponential effect on price, because now all these Bitcoins are out of circulation. They're into these ETFs. So they need to buy more Bitcoin. They need to go out in the market and buy them. And any Bitcoin they buy is going to be more expensive. So if they've gone from 50,000 to 120,000 with 600,000 Bitcoin, what are the next 600,000 going to do? And by the way, these ETFs have reached a level that took the gold ETF almost 20 years to reach. Okay, in less than 12 months. So that tells you something about the appetite for this thing. But the other thing that we've noticed since the news of this bill going through, what we've noticed is now institutional appetite has gone on to Ethereum as well. So if you look at the Ethereum's ETFs here, again, have a look at the last 10 days. Now it's starting to accumulate. Obviously, the numbers are smaller than Bitcoin, but now there are quite a lot of companies that are allocating their treasury, not just to Bitcoin, but to Ethereum as well. So 200 million, 400, 200, 250, 200, 700, 600. So you can see that this is ramping up because the Ethereum has the added advantage that also it also pays a yield compared to Bitcoin. So you can imagine from the point of view of a company that's even more attractive once they've come around to the idea they're having crypto in their company. The company's treasury is actually a good idea. And what are we going to look forward to in the next, especially in the next quarter? They're probably going to be a lot of new ETF approvals. So we're going to see a Litecoin ETF, probably we're going to see a Solana ETF, probably a Cardano ETF, and so more. So at the moment that one of these gets approved, it means that most of the others will get approved as well. Okay, so then it's going to be the obstacle will be removed for company to start allocating to these other ETFs as well. Not all of them will be equally as successful, but it will be extra demand for some of these products. So we can see this in ETFs number as well. That is since the beginning, we accumulated ETFs 2 million Ethereum. Okay, so all these things together are working to increase the demand for Bitcoin and crypto, and really they are causing the start of this new bull market. Now, think about the idea, the approval of the other ETFs to be an extra catalyst that will bring more fuel to this. And another thing is that what's going to happen in the last quarter is going to be interest rate cuts. Okay, so funding is cheaper, going to be more money around because people have got to spend less money to service their debts, to pay their mortgage and so on. So they got more money, more disposable income available. And some of this income will find its way to investments, which crypto is going to be one of the main ones, especially for the younger generations. So we got a lot of vectors that are bringing interest to crypto. And so I would think this is as good a time as any to get investors to create a portfolio of cryptocurrencies. Now, if you want help with that, I say this is what I do, and also I've got a product that can have a managed portfolio of cryptocurrencies that you can copy. If you're interested, then send me a message and I'll talk you through that. But in the meantime, I say this is something that you should be very aware of, understand the market cycles, and when things are going to happen, then can make a huge difference to your investment portfolio. Kath, you had a question?
Hey, Lucas, sorry to interrupt. I was just curious in regards to, because we are part of your Copy Crypto, and I just didn't know for a newbie to crypto, the benefits, for instance, how you said around the Ethereum, like purchasing Ethereum to be part of your portfolio versus being on your crypto bot Ethereum, which we already are, the benefits for a new person, kind of, blonde version, if you can help, that would be great.
Sorry, I don't understand the question really. The benefits of buying Ethereum outright.
So I have the benefits. We've joined one of your crypto bots, which is Ethereum based. So versus if we wanted to purchase more, the benefits of going into your bot with more funds versus just purchasing Ethereum.
Well, that's a different question, because it's not so much about Ethereum, is about having a bot rather than buying outright. So what the bot does obviously is operates on the volatility rather than the price increase, because it buys and sell, buys and sell, buys and sell. So if you imagine that you have $1,000, okay, you can buy $1,000 worth of Ethereum. So Ethereum goes up, you make money. Ethereum goes down, you lose money. Simple. With a bot, if you have the same $1,000, you wouldn't buy $1,000 worth of Ethereum. You will buy, maybe depending on the settings, you'll buy maybe, let's say that there are 20 grid levels, you'll buy $50 of Ethereum. Okay, and then if the prices go down 1%, you buy another $50. And if the prices go back up 1%, you sell those $50 for a profit. and so on. So the volatility of the market is what makes the bot works. So it works not just when the prices are going up, but even when they're just going sideways. So it's a structure that, again, it's like we were talking before for the ETFs. It's a structure to get an item that doesn't really pay an interest to produce a yield. The other thing is that buying it outright, and then you are betting basically on the price increase. Okay, so in a period when the prices are growing, if they're growing violently, then assets, the outright assets are probably going to outperform the bots. But on a period when like what we've had recently seems to be going up for a week and then just going sideways for about 2 months. During those 2 months, the bot continues to do its work. If you had the outright, asset, then you wouldn't. Okay, so it's depending on it's a discussion about products and tools rather than what's like, should I have more money into a bot or should I buy more Ethereum? It's about your personal circumstances and what you are trying to do with your investment. Yeah, does that
I
make
appreciate that.
sense?
Thank you so much, Luca.
Yeah, no problem at all. So a couple of things. One of the things I just wanted to, because we've seen lots of this. Okay, and this is another thing that was in the news. Is an ex-rugby player that's sentenced to for a Ponzi scheme in crypto. So, and this is the kind of thing that we see everywhere, and we've got to be watchful for. So again, it was kind of like the funds he was collecting would be used to purchase crypto mining rigs that would generate 1% daily returns. Now, just for your information, there is nothing in the world, not even the most powerful crypto machine that could generate 1% a day. Okay, even the ones that they buy them in kind of billions worth of equipment, they still couldn't generate that kind of returns. Okay, but this is basically just use the money instead of buying money rings. He was just using the money to buy whatever he wanted, apartments, lifestyle and something like that, and he kept part of the money to pay that 1% to his early investors to keep them quiet. Okay, and this is the way it works because they keep paying that money until they got more money coming in than going out. The moment the balance changes, then everything collapses. You lose all your money and it runs away somewhere where you possibly can get caught. But that's the way. There's lots of these things going around, and be careful because especially if you're not experienced about crypto, crypto is a fantastic tool. It is not a magic bullet that will make you rich. Okay, so anybody that promises you that, just run away, run a mile. Okay, because it's simply not possible. There are some cases, exceptional circumstances, but if somebody comes and say, I guarantee you, nobody can guarantee anything crypto. Okay, if somebody guarantees that can carry on doing 1% a day for weeks and weeks on end, they are probably just a scammer. Okay, so be very careful with that. And the last thing I wanted to share with you is what is called the launch of Midnight. So let me stop sharing. The launch of Midnight, which is going to be probably one of the most important events of the crypto year. Okay, and possibly Jonathan, I think if you are on the call, I think once we have details of when exactly that is going to happen, I think we can do maybe a session just telling people how to participate and how to make sure that you claim all the tokens that are coming to you. Because this is going to be basically a free airdrop to mainly the biggest airdrop will come to the holders of Cardano, but also to holders of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Brave Attention token. I can't remember if there was another one, but there's like about 60.
Avalanche.
Sorry?
Ripple. Avalanche.
Avalanche and Ripple as well, and XRP. So these are like free tokens that are coming to you. And what this Midnight chain is going to do is going to be unbelievable because basically it's going to make it possible with the existing infrastructure for all these blockchains to work together. So you'll be able to operate from one blockchain to another without having to use bridges or without having to transfer your tokens from one coin to another one. But and the effect of all of this will be huge, in particular on Cardano, because it means that Cardano could position itself as the smart contracts, the DeFi layer for Bitcoin. So we could see a lot of Bitcoin, because now Bitcoin can participate in Cardano's DeFi without losing any of the properties that make Bitcoin safe. That makes it very attractive for Bitcoiners, even Bitcoin Maxi, because now they had a chunk of Bitcoins they bought maybe in 2012, which have been sitting there in an account and doing nothing. It's increasing in price by doing nothing. Now they can use those Bitcoins to create yield. And so they could live on this stuff without risking any of their Bitcoin, because they stay in the Bitcoin ecosystem. They can pay the fees in Bitcoin. They don't have to buy Cardano to do that. But the people that are going to look after the traffic are going to be the people like Jonathan that run a Cardano node, and they can get a lot more traffic. And at the same time, also the people that run nodes on the other chains can still participate. So it's still going to be a plus for them, because they are going to get rewarded as well. So it's a win-win that can probably resolve a lot of the problems there have been in Bitcoin, because we really haven't got to the kind of Wi-Fi moment for crypto as we have for the internet. But crypto is at the moment at the place where the internet was at the beginning of the century. Okay, and it has had a faster growth as an environment that any other technology has preceded it. So faster than the mobile phone, faster than the personal computer, faster than the internet. Okay, and but we haven't got to that place where it's going to start booming and going from 500 million users to 5 billion. And that moment is that kind of Wi-Fi moment, and midnight is going to be a big step towards that. The airdrop is going to be free airdrop, so you don't have to. There are no VCs, which is really good, and possibly the expectation is that this is going to be like a multi-billion blockchain from day one, completely belonging to the people rather than to a few investors, like in many of the blockchains, including like Ripple and Solana, where a lot of the tokens are in the hands of VCs rather than on day-to-day users. Jonathan, when you think is the right moment, we'll do a session on that and guide people through the steps, I think, to claim their tokens, because it will be done in a three-phase, three different across 3 months. So you're going to claim a third of the tokens 1 month, and then you're going to go have to do the same. But if you have a wallet and you got Bitcoin and you got Solana and you got Cardano, so you're going to have different allocations, and you're going to have to go for each different coin and claim your airdrops for each different token. But yeah, the details should be out in a matter of days, shouldn't they, Jonathan?
Yeah, that's the expectation. So someone reported a date of the 16th of July as some news coming out, but there's been nothing yet. So yeah, we're all anticipating it, but it's happening soon. And I have my midnight node up and running, by the way. So we're minting blocks on midnight already on the testnet anyway.
Fantastic. Yeah, for all of you that don't know Jonathan, by the way, because there are a few new faces. Jonathan is a Cardano stake pool operator. So it's the operator of one of the nodes that keeps the network running, and he runs a Cardano-based session each week on a Friday after the end of the crypto hour. So you'll do one today as well around 10 o'clock, imagine. So yeah, if you want to drop your link again on the chat box, guys, you are welcome to go and join this session as well, especially if you want to understand in reality how things go on in a blockchain. This is a really good example, because obviously it's Cardano, which is different from Solana, is different from Ethereum, but there's going to be a similar process of how things are done, and you can understand a little bit the important blocks, the important things to look for in blockchains. That can be really important as well for your due diligence when you look into other things. Okay, so I think I've spoken for enough. It's about you now. Just unmute yourselves and ask some questions. Again, I remind you there are no silly questions. Okay, so any question is welcome.
Sorry, I listened to that, but I was just curious. What did you have to do to be in this for all this? I mean, when you're talking about being able to, or are you having to be in Cardano now, and then you're going to be a part of this, or how?
11th, yeah, the 11th of June. So the snapshot has already been taken, the 11th of June.
Oh, okay.
So you have to have Cardano in a not on an exchange, but in a wallet on the 11th of June. And
Okay.
then you would receive, you'll be entitled. You have to claim them. They won't just be coming to you. You have to claim
Yeah.
these tokens when the procedure is open. We're thinking they're probably going to start the claim function. They're probably going to start sometime in August, and then it's going to go on for a few months. So in three different batches. But
Oh,
the
okay.
snapshot,
But they're still working on people that had stuff at the 11th of June.
yeah,
what you're
it's not
saying.
just that. It's
Okay.
not just that. Again, all the tokens that we mentioned. So it's not just Cardano. It's also Bitcoin, Ethereum, Avalanche, XRP, Solana, and BAT, and so on. So there's just about there's quite a lot of people that get involved in that. So it'll be millions of people that would be able to claim tokens.
Okay. Thank you.
Also on that quickly, so the first phase is 60 days where anybody who holds these tokens in their wallets can claim. In that second period that Luca's talking about, you can actually run some software to scavenge the unclaimed tokens. So if you are really interested in Knight and don't qualify for the first part of the airdrop, then you can actually get involved in that second part if you're very keen. So yeah, stay tuned for more news.
Exactly. So this is what we'll talk about that when we do a session on this, because I think that merits a full hour. I think to cover the details and what people need to do. Eric?
Look, I've got a lot of coins on Ledger.
Mhm.
Will I be able to claim there also?
Yes.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So Ledger is again, it's a non-custodial platform. So they're just on the blockchain. The ones that don't qualify, the ones that if you hold them on Binance or you hold them on Coinbase or something, they don't qualify.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? So unless you know everything about crypto, you should have some questions. Because I do. I do. I don't know anything. I don't know everything about crypto. And if you meet anybody that says, I'm a crypto activist, I know anything, then he's a liar. Just simple as that. You can be well informed, and that's what I am, I think, but I'm definitely not. I don't know everything. Bridget, you ever run beginner sessions? No, it's depending on what you mean for beginner session. Are you on Bridget? Are you on AAW? That's fine. Don't worry. You can type here. If you're on AAW, there is if you go on to the learning part of the website, there is a crypto campus. Where you can learn all the basics about what a blockchain is and what is a wallet, what is an exchange, etc., etc. All those questions. You can start from there if you're a total beginner. It's a lot of videos that we prepared. We prepared a couple of years ago. They're still relevant. So start from there. Okay, a question. Pierre was asking, is power to be fired? Well, the thing is that the a president doesn't have the authority to fire Jerome Powell, and even the kind of like noise that maybe they were trying to fire Jerome Powell caused mayhem in the markets. So I don't think that's going to happen any day soon, because the US will lose all credibility on the international markets and could cause, chaos, unprecedented chaos, if they were to do something like that. Okay. So Eric says, I just click on the link provided and got warning about security. You mean the Jonathan's link? The fluid link?
Yes. Yeah, it was Michelle. I just clicked on that link and then it came up saying I had a big red warning about security and somebody might be trying to hack. So I just quickly closed it. Things like that freak me out. So I'm not really sure. I don't know.
I will kind of like refer to Jonathan. I don't know if you know what's going on, Jonathan. I've got no idea. Sorry.
Yeah, that link is my own website, so you should be fine. It will redirect you to a Zoom call. Actually, no, I can see it myself now. The SSL certificate has expired. I'll get that renewed now, and then you'll be all clear again.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All good.
You see everything like just on at the moment, right? On the moment.
Luca, I wanted to ask you about the bots, the crypto bots that we have learned about in IAW. So I've invested in the multi-bot. Now I'm just wondering, it's like, so recently that the bot was at 5.1 and 5.2, even 5.3. So I'm just thinking, are we able to take some profit from that if we wanted to, because it's over the 5K, or are we?
Anytime you like. Anytime you like.
Can take the profit there.
It's when the money is in your account. The money is in your account, Kim. So you can. Sorry, Jane. The money is in your account, so you can anytime you like go into Binance and take part of the profits.
As long as there still remains at least 5K, because that's how much was needed. Yeah. Is that correct?
Yeah. Correct.
So yeah, so if it gets to 5.3, I could go in there and go, okay, I'm going to take 300 USDT or whatever out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, okay, no, that sounds cool.
This is what many people do anyway when when it's time to pay the profit share. Anyway, they take profits out and then pay out of that.
Oh, and the money that goes to, is it Luke and you, or just Luke or whoever? Is that a percentage or a flat rate?
Percentage.
Percentage, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. And so that's what I'm a bit confused about. So if it says it's at 5.3, then I couldn't take 3 out, or have you guys already taken the percentage out?
No, we can't touch anything. We can't touch anything. That's all the stuff is in your account, so we can't touch it. It just you just give trading permission to it, but we can't touch anything. So it's up to you then to fund your wallet. Don't worry if you have any. So don't worry until you receive an email saying there has been a profit and this is the amount of profit share required. That would be
Oh.
What it is. So don't worry. There should be something this month because prices are going up and it's now it's it's the multi-bot is up 15%. I think the last time I looked. So it's
right. So if we got that email, we could just then take to pay it. We could just take money from the bot to pay it, couldn't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah, definitely. But just remember that in any case, the money is always in your account, so you can.
Oh
If
yeah.
you want to stop it, or if you want to take some to use somewhere else, you can always do that. You don't have to ask anybody's permission.
Yeah, no, I knew that. I was just wanting to make sure I knew how it worked. Yeah, awesome.
No problem. Eric and Michelle, that depends on the type of bot that you've they joined. For the multi-bot, yes. For other bots, there's a minimum requirement. There's a kind of $1,000 requirement. They're single bots. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody? By the way, as I said, if anybody's interested in either the bots or the portfolio, just send me. I mean, you probably got my WhatsApp, but if you want to send me an email, this is my. Sorry.
Luca, we're in the Ethereum one. Do you like in regards to like altcoins? Are you able to share what ones? I think. Do you have an XRP one, or does it kind of change depending on what's happening within the market? And if
So
so,
at the
which
moment,
ones?
yeah, the XRP one is in the multi-bot. There isn't a single
yep.
XRP one, so it's in the multi-bot. The Ethereum one is the all-coin bot, because that's trading Ethereum against Cardano.
Mm-hmm. And they're the only ones because we're in both of those. Are they the only altcoin ones?
There is another one that's doing this a single altcoin, but to be honest with you, if you're already in the multi-bot, you wouldn't need the extras. The single bot is just doing Cardano USDT, but at the moment, but they can change at any time. If Luke thinks that he finds a better pair that performs better, they can change at any time.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. Any other question, guys? Okay. All right, guys. If there are no more questions, I will probably we're just coming to the end of the session anyway. So I will end it like a couple of minutes early so I can have a break before my coaching call starts. Okay, as today I had like a tour de force. Pretty much like without break between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. So I could do it 5 minutes. And my voice is already starting to go, so hopefully it will keep going for another 4 hours.
Thanks so much, Luca.
Okay, now you're very welcome. So I just remind you, for those of you that are new, that these sessions I run every week. So both the AIW long-term wealth session and the crypto hour, at the same time every Friday. When the time changes, when it's that time of the year when daylight saving time changes, they always say at the same time in the UK. Okay, so 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. UK, whatever time is in your part of the world. So just in case you've got any doubts, just remember that. Okay, guys. So I wish you all a fantastic weekend. Just let me say, if you want anything, just send me a message. If you're in AIW, probably you are in a WhatsApp group with me. Otherwise, you can use the email that I have posted in the chat box. Otherwise, I will have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you again next week. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.